Please, don't leave me here."
The words slipped out into the cold night air as Harper tried to lift her head, her breath visible in thin, uneven clouds. Liam froze for a second, then stepped closer, his worn shoes crunching softly against gravel. Before we continue, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. It means a lot to this community. The wind cut across the empty stretch of road like something alive, carrying dust, bits of paper, and the distant hum of engines that had long since passed. The kind of road people don't choose, they end up on. Liam tightened his thin jacket around his body, more out of habit than warmth. He had nothing left to give the night. No food, no money, no real place to go. Just a rhythm of survival he had learned over months of being invisible to the world. And yet, there she was, a young woman, around 18, lying half on the shoulder of the road, half on the dirt. Her breathing was shallow. Her arm was scraped. One side of her jacket was torn, as if she had been dragged or forced down. Liam knelt beside her slowly, careful not to startle her. Hey, can you hear me?" he said softly. Her eyes fluttered open for a moment, confused, unfocused, but alive. "Water," she whispered. Liam hesitated, then reached into the small bag he carried everywhere, his only possession worth anything to him, and pulled out a half-empty bottle and a wrapped piece of food he had saved for later. Guess later isn't coming tonight. He handed her the water first. She drank weakly, coughing once, then settling just enough to breathe more steadily. Liam watched her carefully. He didn't know her name yet, didn't know where she had come from, but something about her, the way she tried to stay conscious, the way she refused to give in, reminded him of a fight he understood too well. "Stay with me," he said. "You're not alone out here." Harper blinked slowly. Her voice came in fragments.
"Bike. Crash, I think."
Liam looked around instinctively. No wreck, no obvious debris, no other people. Just silence, and that uneasy feeling that something wasn't right. "Okay," he replied calmly, though his mind was already working through possibilities. "Don't move too much." He reached for his hoodie, the only extra layer he had. Without hesitation, he slipped it off and gently placed it over her shoulders. "Take this, it'll help." She looked at him, weak but aware enough to understand the gesture. "Why?" she managed. Liam gave a faint, tired half-smile. "Because it's the right thing." The words weren't dramatic, they weren't rehearsed. They just came out as if they had always been there, waiting for a moment like this. A distant engine echoed faintly in the background. Liam's head lifted. He stood slightly, scanning the road. Nothing visible at first, but then a shape. A dark SUV parked further down the road, its lights off. Still, watching. Liam's expression changed subtly. Not fear exactly, but awareness. Yeah, that's not normal. He looked back at Harper. She was still conscious, but fading in and out. "Hey," he said gently, "we're going to get help." He reached for his phone. No signal. Of course. He exhaled slowly, thinking. Then he spotted headlights in the distance. A delivery van approaching at a steady pace. Liam stepped forward quickly, raising his arm and signaling. The van slowed. The driver, an older man, rolled down the window with a puzzled look. "Something wrong?" the driver asked. Liam didn't waste time. "There's an injured person back there. She needs help. Call emergency services, please." The driver looked past him, then immediately nodded. "Stay here. I'll call it in." Relief flickered briefly across Liam's face. But that feeling didn't last long. The SUV's engine started, slowly at first, then moving forward. Liam's attention snapped back. He stepped between the road and Harper, instinctively placing himself in a protective stance. The SUV pulled closer, then stopped. The driver's window lowered slightly. A man inside, not fully visible, but watching. Silence stretched between them. Liam didn't move. "Keep going," Liam said firmly. No aggression, no shouting, just certainty. After a tense pause, the SUV reversed slightly, then turned and drove off. The moment it disappeared, Liam exhaled, but his instincts didn't relax. Something about that presence didn't sit right. He returned to Harper. "You're doing good," he said quietly. "Help is on the way." She reached into her pocket weakly and pulled out something small, a biker patch. She placed it in his hand. "Tell my dad," she whispered. Liam looked at the patch, then back at her. "Tell him what?" Her eyes struggled to stay open. "Everything." The sound of distant sirens began to rise faintly in the background. Liam nodded once, as if committing to something bigger than he fully understood. "All right," he said softly. "I will." The night seemed to hold its breath. And for a brief moment, on that empty stretch of road, a homeless boy and a fallen biker's daughter sat at the center of something neither of them had expected. Something that was already beginning to move, quietly, in the shadows around them. And neither of them knew yet just how far that single decision would reach. The distant sirens grew louder, slicing through the quiet like a warning that something was finally in motion. Liam stayed where he was, one hand resting lightly near Harper's shoulder, the other still holding the patch she had given him. "They're coming. Hold on." Harper's eyes opened again, just slightly. "Don't let them," she tried to say, but her voice faded before she could finish the thought. Liam leaned closer. "Hey, stay with me. You're safe now." The delivery van returned first, its headlights illuminating the scene. The driver stepped out quickly, phone already in hand. "I've got emergency services on the line," he called out. "They're about 2 minutes away." Liam nodded, grateful but still alert. The SUV wasn't visible anymore, but the feeling of being watched hadn't completely gone away. Within moments, flashing red and blue lights painted the empty road. An ambulance and a patrol car arrived almost simultaneously, tires crunching over gravel as they slowed to a stop. Paramedics moved fast, stepping out with equipment in hand. "What do we have?" one of them asked. "Injured female," Liam replied calmly, stepping back to give them space. "She's been conscious on and off. Possible trauma, cold exposure." The paramedic gave him a quick glance, surprised by how composed he sounded, then focused on Harper. They worked efficiently, checking her vitals, stabilizing her, placing a blanket over her. Harper looked toward Liam one last time. "Don't forget," he nodded. "I won't." The paramedics lifted her onto a stretcher and moved her into the ambulance. The moment she was inside, the atmosphere shifted. Calmer, but only slightly. Because now the attention turned to Liam. A police officer stepped forward from the patrol car. Officer Haskins. His posture was firm, his expression unreadable at first. He looked at Liam, then at the scene, then back at him. "Name?" he asked. "Liam." "Last name?" Liam hesitated. "Don't have one I use anymore." Haskins narrowed his eyes slightly. "You want to explain why you're the only person here with her, out in the middle of nowhere, at this hour?" Liam kept his tone steady. "I found her. She was alone, injured. I stayed until help arrived. The officer glanced toward the ambulance, then back at Liam. Convenient. The words weren't loud, but they carried weight. Liam felt it immediately. Look, Liam said, still calm. I flagged down help. I called it in through a driver. You can confirm that. Haskins didn't respond right away.
Instead, he stepped closer, observing Liam more closely now.
Hands where I can see them. Liam complied without resistance. 2 officers approached from the patrol car, and within seconds, Liam's wrists were secured. The metal clicked quietly. But that sound carried a heavy meaning. You're detaining me? Liam asked, not with anger, but with confusion. Just until we sort this out, Haskins replied. Liam looked toward the ambulance as it began to pull away. Harper was inside, leaving, and he was being taken in the opposite direction. It didn't feel right, but he didn't resist. Minutes later, Liam sat in the back of the patrol car, watching the road through the barred window as the lights reflected off passing surfaces. His mind replayed everything. The SUV, the patch, Harper's last words. Tell my dad. He didn't even know the man she was referring to, but something told him that message mattered more than anything else that had happened tonight. The car stopped at a small station. Inside, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a sterile glow over everything. Liam was escorted inside and seated in a small room. Officer Haskins remained nearby, arms crossed. Another man entered shortly after, Detective Brandt. He moved differently, slower, more observant. His eyes scanned Liam not with suspicion alone, but with analysis. Tell me what happened, Brandt said, pulling up a chair. Liam explained everything, from the moment he found Harper, to the hoodie, the food, the SUV, the delivery van, the call, the patch. Brandt listened without interrupting. At the mention of the patch, his expression shifted slightly. Let me see it. Liam handed it over. Brandt studied it closely, then looked back at Liam. Where exactly did she give this to you? Liam described the moment. Brandt leaned back slightly, thinking. Then he stood. Uncuff him. Haskins hesitated. Sir. Now. The tone left no room for argument. Liam's restraints were removed.
Brandt looked at him directly.
You're not a suspect, he said. You're a witness, and right now, you're the only one we have. Liam didn't react dramatically. He simply nodded. Then what now? Brandt exhaled. Now we go to the hospital, and we make sure we understand exactly what you saw, before someone tries to rewrite it. Liam followed him out. Outside, the night had deepened, and somewhere beyond the reach of streetlights, the same dark SUV sat again, watching, waiting. The hospital entrance came into view before Liam had fully processed the transition from the quiet tension of the station to the constant hum of life inside a medical facility. Bright lights, fast movement, doors opening and closing without pause, people in scrubs moving with purpose, families pacing, phones ringing, voices overlapping. It felt alive in a way the empty road never did. Liam stepped in behind Detective Brandt, staying slightly to the side, aware of how out of place he looked compared to everyone else. Brandt moved ahead without hesitation, already used to environments like this. Liam followed, quietly observing everything. The air smelled clean, almost too clean. Sterile, controlled. Stay close, Brandt said without turning back. Liam nodded. They approached the reception desk, where a nurse was already speaking into a phone, her tone urgent but composed. Incoming trauma patient from Route 18. Yes, female, approximately 18. Liam's attention sharpened at that detail. 18. Not a child. Not someone who needed to be treated as fragile in the legal sense, but still someone young enough to be vulnerable in ways that mattered. Brant spoke briefly with the staff, then motioned for Liam to wait in the hallway. But Liam didn't move far. He leaned slightly against the wall, watching the flow of people, listening. Minutes passed, then more, until the doors to the emergency area opened and a group of bikers began to enter. Not loudly, not aggressively, but with presence. You could feel it before you fully saw it. Leather jackets, subtle patches, boots that carried weight with each step. Conversations kept low but focused. They didn't look lost in the environment. They looked organized, purposeful. One of them, a tall man with a steady stride and calm eyes, spoke quietly to the others as they gathered near the waiting area. Tate. He wasn't introducing himself loudly. He didn't need to. Others naturally adjusted around him. Liam watched as more bikers arrived, one after another. Some came in groups, some alone. But all of them shared the same quiet intensity. No chaos, no disorder, just unity. Brant returned and stood beside Liam for a moment. "They're family," he said simply. Liam glanced at him. "All of them?" Brant nodded slightly. "More than that." Liam didn't ask further, because at that moment the doors opened again, and the atmosphere shifted. Jack Mercer entered. He didn't rush. He didn't need to. His presence alone changed the tone of the room. Conversations paused, heads turned, not out of fear, but out of recognition. Respect. Liam noticed how even those who had been standing confidently moments ago adjusted their posture slightly. Jack Mercer walked straight into the space, his eyes scanning quickly, assessing without hesitation. He approached Tate first. "Status?" Jack asked. "Stable for now," Tate replied. "They're running tests." Jack gave a small nod. Then his gaze moved and landed on Liam. For a brief moment, everything else seemed to slow. Liam didn't step forward. He didn't try to introduce himself. He simply stood where he was, holding Harper's patch in his hand. Jack approached, close enough now to see the details of Liam's face. The exhaustion, the dirt, the quiet steadiness beneath it all. "You're the one who found her," Jack said. Liam nodded. "Yes, sir." Jack didn't respond immediately. He looked at Liam for a few seconds longer than most people would feel comfortable with. Then his eyes dropped to the patch. "You have something of mine." Liam held it out. Jack took it carefully. He turned it in his hand, studying it, not just as an object, but as a signal, a message, something that carried meaning beyond its material form. "She gave this to you?" "Yes," Liam said, "before they took her in." Jack's expression didn't change dramatically, but something in his eyes shifted. "Did she say anything?" Liam paused briefly, then replied, "She told me to tell you." Jack's attention focused completely now. "Tell me what?" Liam took a breath. "She said, 'Tell my dad.'" Silence followed. Not uncomfortable, just heavy. Jack closed his eyes briefly. Not long, just enough to process the weight of those words. Then he opened them again. "Did she mention anything else?" Liam nodded. "She said it wasn't an accident." That line landed differently. Around them, the background noise of the hospital seemed to fade slightly into the distance. Jack's posture changed subtly. "Explain." Liam described what Harper had said, the fragmentary words, the mention of another person, the fear in her voice that wasn't just physical pain, but something deeper. He spoke carefully, choosing each word as accurately as he could remember. Jack listened without interruption. When Liam finished, Jack didn't immediately respond. Instead, he turned slightly toward Tate. "Badge," Jack said quietly. Tate's expression tightened. "Roar." Jack gave a small nod. "Get everyone ready." The words weren't loud, but they carried weight. Around the room, bikers who had been waiting began to subtly shift their positions. Not panicking, not reacting emotionally, preparing. Liam watched this unfold, realizing he wasn't witnessing a random gathering. This was structure, discipline, coordination without chaos. Brant stepped closer to Liam again. "You did the right thing bringing her help," he said quietly. Liam nodded.
I just didn't want her to die out there alone.
Brant studied him for a moment. "That's not something everyone would choose." Before Liam could respond, movement at the far end of the hallway drew attention. Harper was being wheeled out of a treatment area, conscious now, though still weak. Her eyes scanned the room, and when they landed on Jack, they softened. "Dad?" Jack moved quickly now, not rushed in panic, but with urgency that came from something deeper than authority. He reached her side. "I'm here." Harper's gaze shifted slightly. Then she saw Liam standing near the wall. She lifted her hand weakly. "That's him." Jack looked back at Liam again. Harper continued, her voice faint but clear enough to carry. "He stayed with me. He helped me." Jack's eyes returned to Liam. There was no hesitation now, no uncertainty, only acknowledgement. Harper's breathing steadied slightly as she continued. "It wasn't an accident. Dad, Badge, and the man in the dark car." Her words trailed off as fatigue took over again. Jack leaned closer. "Rest now. We'll handle the rest." Harper nodded faintly before being taken further inside. Jack stood there for a moment, watching her disappear from view. Then he turned back toward Liam. "Come with me," he said. Liam didn't question it. He followed. Because whatever was unfolding now was no longer just about one injured rider. It was something larger, something that had already begun to move beyond the walls of the hospital. And Liam was now part of it. "Don't trust the badge." The words lingered in Liam's mind as he followed Jack Mercer down a quieter corridor, away from the crowded waiting area. The noise of the hospital faded behind them, replaced by something heavier, more controlled. Jack didn't speak immediately. His steps were steady, measured, every movement deliberate, like a man used to making decisions that carried consequences.
Liam stayed a half step behind, watching, listening, trying to understand what he had just stepped into. They entered a side room, empty, dimly lit, used more for private conversations than treatment. Jack closed the door behind them. Silence settled. Then he turned. "You did more than most people would," Jack said. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried weight. Not praise, not emotion, just fact. Liam shifted slightly. "I just stayed," he replied. Jack studied him. "Most people don't." A pause. Then Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out a small key card. Black, worn, used. He held it out. "I need you to take this." Liam didn't take it immediately. "What is it?" "A storage access. Locker. Off-site," Jack said. "There's something in there that matters. Something Harper tried to protect." Liam looked at the key card, then back at Jack. "Why me?" Jack didn't hesitate. "Because right now, you're the only one they don't expect." That answer landed, not as a compliment, but as truth. Liam took the card. "What am I looking for?" "A bag," Jack said. "Small, waterproof. Inside it, proof. Enough to expose what's been moving under this town without anyone seeing it." Liam's grip tightened slightly. "Proof of what?" Jack's eyes hardened, just a fraction.
corruption, and people who think a badge makes them untouchable. Liam immediately thought of Harper's words. Badge. Before he could respond, the door opened. Tate stepped in. "We've got movement," he said quietly. Jack nodded once. "Talk." "Roar's here," Tate said. "He's already asking questions, looking for the boy." Liam's attention snapped up. "Me?" Tate looked at him briefly, then back to Jack. "Yeah." Jack turned to Liam again. "Listen carefully. You don't talk to him. You don't answer questions. You don't give him anything." Liam nodded. "Got it." Tate continued. "There's more. Word is, he's heading to the bridge." Jack's eyes narrowed slightly. "Why the bridge?" Tate exhaled. "Storm drain under it. Old runoff system. Same place Harper used to stash things when she didn't want them found." That connected instantly. Liam looked between them. "The bag." Jack nodded. "That's where it is." A beat passed. Then Liam spoke. "I'll go." Both men looked at him. "You don't even know what you're walking into," Tate said. Liam didn't argue. "I know enough." Jack watched him closely. "Why would you risk that?" Liam hesitated for the first time, then answered honestly. "Because she asked me to help." The room went quiet again. Not awkward, just understanding. Jack stepped closer. "You're not doing this alone," he said. But Liam shook his head. "If they're already watching, if they're expecting bikers, you send a group, they'll see it coming." Tate exchanged a look with Jack. Liam continued. "But me? I'm just nobody to them." The same truth, repeated, and this time it worked in his favor. Jack considered it, then gave a small nod. "You go in, you get the bag, and you come straight back. No detours." Liam nodded. Tate stepped forward, placing a hand briefly on Liam's shoulder. "You see anything off, you walk away. No hero moves." Liam gave a faint half-smile. "I'm not trying to be a hero. Just trying to do the right thing." Outside, the hospital energy had shifted again. More bikers had arrived. Engines low, controlled, not loud, but present. Not a crowd, a formation. Liam stepped out of the building, the night air hitting his face again. Colder now, sharper. One of the bikers approached, handing him a helmet. "You'll need this." Liam looked at it, then at the bike behind the man. "I've never ridden one of these." The biker smirked slightly. "Then tonight's your first lesson." Liam hesitated, then took the helmet. Moments later, he was seated behind the rider, gripping tighter than he expected as the engine came to life beneath him. The bike pulled out smoothly, merging into the dark road. Behind them, more engines followed, but at a distance. Not close enough to be obvious, just enough to be there if needed. The bridge came into view within minutes. Old, concrete, quiet. The kind of place no one stops unless they have a reason. The bike slowed. "You go on foot from here," the rider said. Liam nodded and got off. The engine cut. Silence again, but not empty silence. The kind that watches you back. Liam approached the storm drain entrance. Metal grate, partially rusted. He crouched down, gripping the edge, pulling it open just enough to slip through. Inside, the air was damp, cool, echoing slightly with every movement. He moved carefully, following the narrow path along the drainage channel. Then he saw it. A small bag, tucked behind a concrete support, exactly where they said it would be. Liam moved toward it slowly, reached down, picked it up. And in that moment, a voice echoed from behind him. "Found something interesting?" Liam turned. Sheriff Roar stood at the entrance. Not alone.
two deputies behind him, and just beyond, parked above, the same dark SUV. Liam's grip tightened on the bag. Roar stepped forward slowly. "You've been busy tonight," he said calmly. Liam didn't respond. Roar's smile was thin. "Here's how this works. You hand that over, and you walk away." Liam's mind moved fast, too fast for fear, too focused for hesitation. He took a step back, then another, then pointed suddenly toward the opposite side of the drain. "It's not the real one." Roar paused. "What?" "There's another stash, other side. That one's just a decoy." The deputies exchanged looks. Roar narrowed his eyes. "Move," he ordered. They shifted position, moving toward the direction Liam pointed. In that moment, Liam moved, fast, climbing back toward the exit. But just as he reached the edge, a boot slammed down near his hand. Officer Haskins. "You're not going anywhere," he said. But as he stepped forward, his foot hit the edge of a loose hatch panel. It shifted, clanged open, and inside, another bag, hidden, real. Haskins froze, Roar turned, and in that instant, everything changed. The metallic clang echoed through the storm drain like a gunshot. Everyone froze. Haskins looked down. Roar turned slowly, and there it was, half hidden beneath the shifted hatch. Another bag. Not the one Liam had picked up. The real one. For a split second, no one moved. Then Roar's expression changed. Not confusion, not surprise. Recognition. And something darker. "Well," he said quietly, "that complicates things." Liam didn't wait. He moved, fast, grabbing the real bag from beneath the hatch before anyone could react fully. "Stop!" Haskins shouted. Too late. Liam pushed forward, slipping past the narrow space, climbing up and out of the drain with a speed that came from instinct, not training. Behind him, boots scraping, voices shouting. "After him!" Liam burst out onto the cold pavement above the bridge, breathing hard, the bag clutched tightly against his chest. The night air hit him like a shock. For a fraction of a second, everything felt open. Then, headlights, blinding. An engine roared to life. The dark SUV. It surged forward, accelerating straight toward him. Liam froze, just for a moment. Too fast, too close. Then, a motorcycle cut across the road like a blade. The rider leaned hard, positioning the bike between Liam and the SUV. The impact didn't happen. Instead, the SUV swerved violently, tires screeching, missing both of them by inches before spinning sideways across the road. The biker steadied the machine, boots hitting the ground, engine still rumbling. "You okay?" the rider shouted. Liam nodded, breath uneven. Yeah. Good, move!" Liam didn't hesitate. He ran, across the bridge, toward the opposite side where flashing lights were beginning to appear. Detective Brandt. Backup. And behind him now, more engines. Low, controlled. Closing in. The bikers. Not chaotic, not loud. Just present. Like a wall forming around him. Roar emerged from the storm drain seconds later, his calm gone now. "Stop him!" he shouted. But the situation had shifted. The road was no longer empty. Bikes lined the edges now, riders stepping off, forming a quiet barrier. Not aggressive, but unmovable. Liam reached Brandt, barely slowing as he held out the bag. "Open it!" he shouted. Brandt didn't question it. He took the bag immediately, dropping to one knee and unzipping it. Inside, documents, photos, a small device, a USB drive.
Brant's expression sharpened instantly. "This is it," he muttered. Behind them, Roar approached, but slower now, measured, trying to regain control. "You don't understand what you're getting into," Roar said, his voice returning to that calm tone. Brant didn't look up. "Oh, I think I do." Roar's eyes shifted to Liam. "You," he said, "you did all this. For what?" Liam met his gaze. No fear, just clarity. "Because it was right." Roar let out a quiet breath, almost like a disappointed teacher. "It doesn't work like that," he said. "Not out here." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You give me that drive, and this all disappears. No charges, no trouble. You walk away clean." A bribe. Simple, direct. Liam looked at the bag, then at Brant, then back at Roar. And slowly, he shook his head. "No, I'm not walking away from this." For a brief second, something dangerous flickered across Roar's face. Then, a sharp crack split the air. A shot. The bullet struck near Brant, hitting the pavement, sparks flying. Another shot, closer, aimed at the bag. "Down!" someone shouted. Liam reacted instantly, grabbing the bag and pulling it close, shielding it as he dropped to the ground. More movement. Bikers stepping forward, not rushing blindly but positioning themselves, creating cover, blocking angles. One of them moved in front of Liam, another beside Brant. Controlled, disciplined, not panic. Protection. "Stay down," the biker near Liam said. Liam's hands tightened around the bag. Inside, the USB. That was the key. He unzipped it quickly, fingers moving fast despite the chaos. "Brant!" he called. The detective turned. Liam pulled the USB free and held it up. "Take it!" Brant moved immediately, grabbing it and securing it. More sirens now, louder, closer. Different tone, not local. Federal. Roar heard it too. His posture shifted again, this time not controlled. Cornered. Within seconds, black vehicles pulled up at both ends of the bridge. Agents stepped out. Clear, direct, weapons ready, but not raised recklessly. "Sheriff Roar," one of them called out. "Step away and put your hands where we can see them." Silence. Heavy. Roar looked around, at the bikers, at Brant, at Liam, at the SUV, now useless. The situation had closed around him. Slowly, he raised his hands. The deputies followed. Cuffs clicked. This time, on the other side. The night exhaled. Liam sat there for a moment longer, still holding the empty bag, his breathing slowly returning to normal. One of the bikers helped him up. "You did good, kid," he said. Liam didn't respond immediately. He just looked around, at the line of bikes, at the people who had shown up, not for themselves, for something bigger, for each other, for what was right. Jack Mercer stepped forward through the group. His eyes went straight to Liam. "You held on to it," he said. Liam nodded slightly. "Yeah." Jack looked at him for a long moment, then gave a small, approving nod. Not dramatic, but meaningful. "That matters." Liam looked down at his hands, still shaking slightly, then back up. "What happens now?" Jack glanced toward the agents, then back at him. "Now?" "Now things start getting better." The wind moved across the bridge again, but this time, it didn't feel as cold. The flashing lights slowly faded into the background as the bridge scene began to clear. Federal agents moved with quiet efficiency, securing evidence, escorting Sheriff Roar and his deputies into vehicles. No shouting, no chaos. Just the controlled ending of something that had gone on far too long. Liam stood near the guardrail, the cool metal against his back,
watching it all unfold. For the first time that night, things weren't chasing him. They were settling. A biker handed him a bottle of water. "Drink," he said. Liam nodded, taking it, his hand still slightly unsteady. "Thanks." He drank slowly, the cold water grounding him back into his body. Nearby, Detective Brandt was speaking with one of the federal agents, handing over the USB drive. Their conversation was low, but serious. This wasn't just local anymore. This was bigger. Jack Mercer approached again, stopping a few steps in front of Liam. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Jack looked out over the bridge. "You ever been on a ride like this before?" he asked. Liam gave a small, tired smile. "If you mean getting chased by a sheriff and almost run over?" Jack let out a quiet breath that almost resembled a chuckle. "Fair point." A pause. Then Jack turned slightly toward him. "You kept your head. That's not something you can teach." Liam shrugged lightly. "I just didn't want them to take it." Jack nodded once. "And you didn't?" Another pause. This one, different. Less about the situation, more about what came next. "You got somewhere to go after this?" Jack asked. The question was simple, but it landed heavy. Liam looked down briefly, then back up. "No." No hesitation. No attempt to soften it. Just truth. Jack studied him for a moment, then reached into his jacket again. This time, he didn't pull out a key card. He pulled out something smaller, a folded piece of paper, an address, and a number. He handed it to Liam. "This is a place we use. Safe. Warm. People you can trust." Liam took it slowly, looking at it, then back at Jack. "Why are you helping me?" Jack didn't answer immediately. Instead, he glanced toward the line of bikers behind them, engines quiet now, but still there, still present. "Because someone helped my daughter when she needed it," he said. Then his eyes returned to Liam, and that matters more than anything else right now. Liam swallowed slightly, not emotional in an obvious way, but something in his expression shifted, a weight, lifting. Tate walked over, nodding toward Jack. "Harper's asking for him." Jack looked back at Liam. "You should come." The ride back to the hospital felt different. No urgency, no tension in the air, just the low hum of engines moving together. Liam sat behind another rider this time, more steady now, his grip relaxed. The road passed beneath them in long, smooth stretches, streetlights flickering by, wind cutting across, but not as harsh as before. For the first time in a long while, Liam wasn't alone on the road. When they arrived, the hospital entrance looked the same, but the feeling was different. Less uncertainty, more direction. Inside, the bikers moved with quiet coordination, giving space, respecting the environment, but clearly not leaving until everything was settled. Liam followed Jack down the hallway again. This time, people stepped aside, not out of fear, out of understanding. Harper was in a recovery room now, awake, resting against the pillows, pale but stable. When she saw Liam, she smiled faintly. "You made it," she said. Liam nodded. "Yeah, so did you." Jack stepped closer to her bedside. "You scared a lot of people tonight." Harper gave a weak smirk. "Wasn't planning on it." Then her eyes moved back to Liam. "You stayed, didn't you?" Liam shrugged lightly. "Told you I would."
She studied him for a moment, then glanced at Jack. "He's the one I told you about." Jack nodded. "I know." A quiet moment passed between them. Not awkward, just real.
Harper reached slightly toward the table beside her. There was another patch there, cleaner, newer. She picked it up slowly and held it out toward Liam. "This one's yours," she said. Liam hesitated. "I don't ride." Harper's smile grew just a little. "You showed up. That's what matters." Liam looked at the patch, then at Jack. Jack didn't say anything. He just gave a small nod. Liam took it, carefully, like it meant something. Because it did. Not just a symbol, but a place, a connection. Something he hadn't had in a long time. Harper leaned back slightly. "You ever think about not doing this alone anymore?" Liam didn't answer right away. He looked around the room, at Jack, at Tate standing quietly near the door, at the hallway beyond, where bikers still waited, then back at Harper. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I think I have." Jack crossed his arms, but there was something different in his posture now. Less guarded, more open. "You help us tonight," Jack said. "We help you tomorrow." Liam let that sit for a moment, then nodded. "Okay." No big speech, no dramatic acceptance, just a simple agreement. But it carried weight. Outside the room, the sound of engines started again. Not rushing, just ready. Ready for whatever came next. And this time, Liam wasn't standing on the outside looking in. He was part of it. The morning came quietly, not with noise, not with urgency, but with that soft, steady light that slowly fills a room and makes everything feel real again. Liam stood just outside the hospital, hands in his pockets, watching the first light stretch across the empty parking lot. For a moment, it almost felt like none of it had happened. No storm drain, no chase, no bridge, just calm. But then, the low rumble of engines behind him. He didn't turn immediately. He didn't need to. He already knew. One by one, bikes rolled into the lot. Not fast, not loud. Controlled, intentional. More than before. Way more. Liam finally turned, and for the first time, he actually saw it. Rows of riders, dozens, then hundreds. Different bikes, different jackets, different patches, but the same presence, the same discipline, the same purpose. That's a lot of people. Tate stepped up beside him. 520, he said calmly. Liam blinked. For her? Tate shook his head slightly. For what she stands for, and for what you did. Liam didn't respond right away. He just watched. Engines cutting off one by one, helmets coming off, people stepping down. Not chaos, not a crowd, a formation, a gathering with meaning. Inside the hospital, staff began to notice. People moved toward windows, phones came out, whispers spread. Because this wasn't normal. This was something else. Something people remember. Jack Mercer stepped out of the hospital a moment later. He didn't raise his voice, didn't signal, but the moment he appeared, the movement stopped. Every rider turned, not forced, not commanded, natural. Jack stood there for a second, looking across the line, then gave a small nod. That was enough. Respect moved through the group like a wave. Liam watched all of it, trying to process. "You always do this?" he asked quietly. Tate gave a faint smile. "No." A pause. "Only when it matters." Inside, Harper was being moved carefully toward a window-facing room. She insisted, even against the nurse's suggestions. "I want to see," she said. They adjusted her bed just enough, and when the curtain pulled back, she saw them, all of them. Her breath caught slightly. "They came." Jack stepped into the room behind her. "They always do." Harper's eyes moved across the line of bikes, the people, the presence. Then she saw Liam standing outside, still near the edge, still not quite stepping fully in. She smiled. "Bring him in." Back outside, Liam felt a hand tap his shoulder. "She's asking for you." Liam hesitated, looking once more at the line of riders, then back at the door. "Yeah, okay." Inside, everything felt quieter again, more grounded. Liam stepped into the room. Harper looked at him. "Did you see?" He nodded. "Yeah, I saw." She gave a small laugh, then winced slightly. "Don't make me laugh. Still hurts." A brief silence settled between them. Then Harper looked at him more seriously. "You didn't have to do any of that." Liam shrugged. "You didn't have to trust me either." That landed. She nodded slowly. "Guess we're even." Jack stood nearby, arms crossed, but not closed off, watching, listening, measuring something. Not Liam's past, but who he was now. After a moment, Jack stepped forward. "I spoke with the agents," he said. Liam looked at him. "Yeah?" Jack nodded. "Roar's done. Everything tied to him is being pulled apart." A pause. "You made that happen." Liam shook his head slightly. "No, the evidence did." Jack looked at him directly. "You carried it." That ended the argument. Liam didn't push it further. Harper reached toward the side table again. Not for the patch this time, for something else. A small, folded photo. She held it out. "This was in the bag," she said. Liam took it carefully, looked at it. A group of riders. Older photo. Different time. Different faces, but the same feeling. "That's the first ride my dad ever led," Harper said. Jack exhaled quietly. "Long time ago." Harper looked back at Liam. "He built this, not just as a club, as something people could belong to." Liam listened. People who didn't have anything got something here. That line hit deeper than she probably realized. Liam looked down at the photo again, then back up. "And now?" Jack answered this time. "Now we decide who carries that forward." Silence. Not empty. Full. Liam stood there, holding the photo, the patch still in his pocket. And for the first time in a long time, he wasn't thinking about where he'd sleep, or what he'd eat, or how he'd get through the next day. He was thinking about something else, something bigger. "I don't know how to be part of something like that." Jack stepped closer. "You already are." Liam looked at him. Jack nodded once. "You showed up when it counted." Tate leaned against the wall slightly, arms crossed, watching with a faint approving look. Harper smiled again. "Told you." Liam let out a small breath. Not a laugh, not relief, something in between. Outside, engines started again. Not leaving, just running. Ready.
waiting. Liam glanced toward the window, then back at them. So, what happens now? Jack looked toward the door, then back at him. Now, we ride forward. And this time, Liam didn't feel like he was chasing something. He felt like he was stepping into it. The hospital doors opened slowly as Liam stepped outside again. The air felt different now. Not just cold, but clear. The line of bikes was still there, but something had shifted. They weren't just gathered anymore. They were waiting for a signal, for direction, for the next move. Liam stood on the steps, looking out across them, the patch still in his hand. He hadn't put it on yet. Didn't feel like he had earned it. Not fully. Not yet. "You're thinking too much." The voice came from behind. Liam turned. Tate, leaning casually against the railing, arms folded, watching him with that same calm, observant expression. "I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this," Liam admitted. Tate nodded slightly. "Good." Liam frowned. "Good?" "Yeah," Tate said. "Means you're not taking it lightly." A pause. Then Tate pushed off the railing and stepped closer. "You don't need to have it all figured out right now." Liam looked back at the bikes. "Feels like everyone else does." Tate followed his gaze. "They don't. They just know one thing." "What's that?" Tate gave a small nod toward the parking lot. "When it matters, they show up." Liam let that sit, then slowly nodded. "Yeah, I get that." A moment passed. Then the hospital doors opened again. Jack Mercer stepped out. This time, not alone. Harper followed, carefully. Slow steps, supported but standing. The moment she appeared, engines cut. Every single one, like a switch had been flipped. Silence rolled across the lot. Not empty, respectful. Harper paused at the top of the steps, taking it all in again, but this time standing on her own. "You really didn't have to do all this." Her voice carried more than expected. Not loud, but clear enough. Jack stood beside her, steady. "You know they would," he said. Harper smiled faintly. Her eyes moved across the riders, then found Liam again. Still slightly off to the side, still not fully stepping in. She took a few steps forward, slow but intentional. Liam moved instinctively, meeting her halfway. "You should be resting," he said. She gave him a look. "You sound like my dad." Liam almost smiled. "Yeah, I'm starting to see where that comes from." A small pause. Then Harper reached out. Not with the patch this time, but her hand. Liam hesitated for just a second, then took it. Her grip wasn't strong, but it was steady. "You don't stand on the edge anymore," she said quietly. Liam looked at her, then at the riders, then back at her. "Guess not." Behind them, Jack watched the moment, then stepped forward. "All right," he said, his voice carrying just enough. Heads turned, not sharply, naturally. Jack didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. "We're done reacting," he said. "Now we move forward." A few nods across the line, subtle, understood. Jack continued. "What happened last night doesn't define us." A pause. "What we do next does." Liam felt that line land deeper than the rest. Jack turned slightly toward him. "That includes you." Liam straightened a little, not out of pressure, out of responsibility. Harper released his hand slowly. "You ready?" she asked. Liam exhaled, then nodded.
Yeah. Tate stepped forward, tossing him something. Liam caught it. A helmet. Same one from before. You're riding this time, Tate said. Liam looked at it, then back up. Thought I wasn't trying to be a hero. Tate smirked slightly. You're not. A beat. You're part of the line. That was different. Liam didn't argue. He put the helmet on, clipped it, adjusted it. The small, practical actions grounding him again. A bike rolled forward. One of the riders nodded toward the seat. Liam climbed on. This time, no hesitation. No tight grip from fear. Just balance, awareness, presence. Engines started again. Not loud, but powerful. Unified. Harper stepped back beside Jack, watching. A quiet pride in her expression. Jack crossed his arms. You picked a good one, he said. Harper nodded slightly. He picked us. The line of bikes began to move, slowly, orderly. Not a rush, a formation. Liam rode among them, not leading, not trailing, within. The road opened ahead, wide, clear. And for the first time, Liam wasn't watching the road wondering where it would take him. He was riding it, knowing he had somewhere to go. The wind passed over him, not cold anymore, just real. The road stretched far ahead, cutting through open land washed in early morning light. The formation moved smoothly, engines steady. No sudden movements, no unnecessary noise, just rhythm. Liam rode in the middle of the line, his eyes adjusting to everything. The spacing between bikes, the way riders signaled without words, the subtle shifts in speed that passed through the group like a wave. No one explained it to him, but somehow he understood. Stay in line, stay aware, stay steady. That was enough. They rode for miles before slowing. A wide turn led them off the main road, onto a long stretch of gravel that curved toward a secluded property. Low buildings, open space, garages. This wasn't just a meeting spot. This was a base. The bikes rolled in one by one, parking in clean, organized rows. Engines cut. Silence returned. But it felt earned this time. Liam removed his helmet slowly, taking in the place. "This is yours?" he asked, glancing toward Tate. Tate shook his head. "Not mine." A pause. "Ours." That word landed differently. Liam stepped off the bike, boots hitting gravel, the sound sharp and real. Around him, riders moved with familiarity, some heading toward the buildings, others checking bikes, a few standing together in quiet conversation. No chaos, no ego, just structure. Jack Mercer arrived last, as always, not rushing. But when he stepped off his bike, everyone noticed. He walked toward the center of the yard, and naturally people began to gather. Not forced, not called, just drawn. Liam stood off to the side again, watching, still not fully stepping in. Not yet. Harper arrived shortly after, brought in carefully, but on her feet. She moved slower than usual, but her presence alone shifted attention. "You good?" Tate asked her quietly. She nodded. "I didn't come here to sit inside." Tate smirked slightly. "Didn't think you would." Jack looked across the group, then spoke. "We're not here to celebrate." A few heads nodded. "We're here to reset." The word carried weight. "Last night exposed something that's been hiding in plain sight," Jack continued. "And we're not going to pretend it didn't happen." Silence. Focused. "We move forward clean. No shortcuts, no shadows." His eyes moved briefly across the group, then landed on Liam. "And we don't forget who stood up when it mattered." Liam shifted slightly, uncomfortable with the attention. Jack didn't linger on him, didn't single him out further, just acknowledged and moved on. "Everyone gets back to work," Jack said. "We rebuild from here." The group broke naturally. No orders needed. They already knew what to do. Liam stood there for a moment longer, then felt someone step beside him. Harper. "You always stand on the edge like that?" she asked. Liam glanced at her. "Working on it." She smiled slightly. "Good." A pause. Then she nodded toward one of the garages. "Come on, I want to show you something." Liam followed. Inside, the space was clean but lived in. Tools lined the walls. Bikes in various states of repair. Photos pinned to boards. Old ones, new ones. Moments frozen. "This is where it actually happens," Harper said. Liam walked slowly, taking it in. "This isn't just writing, is it?" She shook her head. "No, it's everything around it." She stopped near a workbench and picked up a small object. Another patch. But this one, different, older, worn. "This was my first ride patch," she said. Liam looked at it. "You were what, 16? 18, she corrected with a small smirk. "Always 18. He nodded. "Right." She placed it back down carefully. "You don't get one of these just for showing up," she said. Liam leaned slightly against the bench. "Figured." She looked at him. "But sometimes you earn something else first." Liam didn't ask. He waited. Harper reached into a drawer, pulled out a set of keys, then held them out. Liam blinked. "What's that?" "One of the rooms here," she said. "You said you don't have anywhere to go." Liam hesitated. "You don't even know me." She shrugged lightly. "I know enough." A quiet moment passed. Then Liam took the keys, slowly, carefully, like they might disappear if he moved too fast. "Thank you," he said. No sarcasm, no defense, just honest. Harper nodded. "You'll help out around here, learn, ride when you're ready." A small pause. "And eat something that isn't your last meal for once." Liam let out a faint breath that almost turned into a laugh. "That sounds good." Outside, the sound of tools starting, engines being checked, people moving with purpose filled the air again. Life, continuing. Liam stepped back out into the light, looked across the yard. This time, he didn't feel like an outsider watching. He felt like someone standing at the beginning of something, not finished, not proven, but started. Tate walked past him, tossing a rag onto his shoulder. "Don't just stand there," he said. "You're on cleanup." Liam caught it. "Yeah?" Tate gave a small grin. "You want it in. That's step one." Liam nodded. "All right." He moved, not unsure, not hesitant, just forward. And for the first time, it didn't feel like survival. It felt like direction. The sun had climbed higher, casting long, sharp shadows across the yard as the rhythm of work settled in. Metal clinked against metal. Engines turned over briefly, then cut. Voices stayed low, focused. No wasted movement. Liam wiped his hands with the rag Tate had thrown him earlier, watching as another rider carefully adjusted a chain on a bike nearby. Everything here had a pace, not rushed, not slow, intentional. And for the first time, Liam was part of it. Don't just watch it, understand it. The voice came from behind him. Liam turned. An older biker stood there, arms crossed, nodding toward the machine in front of him. You write it wrong. It lets you know. You ignore it, it leaves you. Liam nodded. Same as everything else, right? The man gave a slight smirk. Not everything gives you a second chance. That stuck. The man stepped forward, handing Liam a wrench. Here, tighten that. Not too much. Liam crouched, following the direction carefully. His hands weren't used to this kind of work, but he paid attention. Every movement, every detail. He tightened the bolt slowly. Like that? The man checked it, then nodded once. Good. No praise, no extra words, just acknowledgement. And somehow, that meant more. Across the yard, Harper sat on a low step near the garage, watching everything. She wasn't working yet, but she wasn't inside either. Her presence alone was enough. Tate walked over to her, handing her a bottle of water. You're supposed to be resting. She took it, raising an eyebrow. And you're supposed to not tell me what to do. Tate smirked. There. He nodded toward Liam. He's learning quick. Harper followed his gaze. Liam was still focused on the bike, asking a question now, listening carefully. Not pretending to know, actually learning. Yeah, she said quietly. He is. Back in the yard, Liam stood up, handing the wrench back. What else? He asked. The older biker looked at him for a second, then nodded toward another bike. That one. Needs a look. Liam moved without hesitation. No one was watching him now. No one needed to. He was already doing it. Time passed, not tracked by clocks, but by progress, by small tasks completed, by things getting fixed. At some point, Jack Mercer stepped out again, observing the yard from a distance. He didn't interrupt, didn't step in. He just watched. The way Liam moved now, less unsure, more grounded. The way others interacted with him, not as an outsider anymore, but not fully one of them yet either. Something in between. Jack turned slightly as Tate approached. You see it? Tate asked. Jack nodded once. He's not trying to prove anything. Tate leaned back slightly. That's why it works. A pause. Then Jack spoke again. Bring him in later. Tate nodded. Yeah. Back near the garage, Liam stepped back from the second bike, wiping his hands again. He looked at them for a moment. Still rough, still worn, but now doing something. Not just surviving, building, fixing, contributing. Harper walked over slowly. You look different, she said. Liam glanced at her. Yeah? She nodded. Less like you're about to disappear. Liam let out a small breath. Working on that. A brief silence. Then she gestured toward the far side of the yard. My dad wants to talk to you. Liam's expression shifted slightly. That good or bad? She gave a faint smile. Depends how you answer. Liam nodded. All right. They walked across the yard together. People moved around them naturally. No stares, no attention, just space being made, without it being obvious. Jack stood near one of the larger garage doors, waiting. When Liam approached, Jack looked at him for a moment, then nodded once. You're settling in? Liam shrugged slightly. Trying to. Jack glanced at his hands. Looks like it. A pause, then Jack gestured toward a quieter area. Walk with me. They moved away from the main activity. Not far, just enough for space. Jack didn't speak right away. He let the silence sit for a moment. Then, you understand what this place is? Liam thought for a second. More than just bikes. Jack nodded. Good. Another pause. This isn't about riding fast or looking tough. It's about responsibility. Liam listened carefully. You show up. You carry your weight. You don't leave people behind. Each line, simple, but heavy. Liam nodded slowly. I get that. Jack stopped walking, turned to face him directly. Then you understand why I'm asking this. Liam waited. Jack held his gaze. You stay here. You don't just take. You give back. No pressure in his voice, no demand, just expectation. Liam didn't hesitate this time. I will. Jack studied him for a moment longer, then gave a small nod. All right. He reached into his jacket one more time, this time pulling out something familiar, the same patch Liam had been holding earlier. He handed it to him again. This stays with you, Jack said, until you earn where it goes. Liam looked at it, then at Jack. What happens if I don't? Jack's expression didn't change. You won't be here long enough to worry about that. Not harsh, just honest. Liam nodded. Fair. A small silence followed. Then Jack added, You did something most people wouldn't. Don't waste that. Liam closed his hand around the patch. I won't. In the distance, the sound of an engine starting echoed through the yard. Not loud, just steady. Liam looked out across the space again, then back at Jack. Where do I start? Jack gave a slight nod toward the garage. You already did. Liam turned, walking back toward the work, not thinking about the past, not worrying about what came next. Just moving forward. And this time, he wasn't trying to survive the day. He was building something that could last beyond it. The day moved forward, but something subtle began to shift again. Not in the noise, not in the work, in the attention. Liam felt it before he fully understood it. Small glances, short pauses in conversations when he passed. Not judgment, not suspicion, recognition. He kept working anyway, didn't chase it, didn't question it, just stayed focused. Tightening bolts, cleaning parts, listening more than speaking. Because that's what this place seemed to respect. Not words, consistency. Across the yard, Tate leaned against a post, watching. He's not slowing down, one of the riders said quietly. Tate nodded. He won't. A pause. That's what makes it real. Inside the garage, Liam wiped grease from his hands again, stepping back from another finished task. He looked around, less unfamiliar now, more known. The sounds, the smells, the rhythm. It wasn't new anymore. It was becoming normal. And that's when Jack stepped back into the center of the yard. He didn't raise his voice, but once again, people noticed. Work didn't stop completely, but attention shifted, gradually, naturally. Jack looked around, then spoke. We ride tonight. That was it. No explanation, no long speech, just those words. A few nods, some riders exchanged brief looks, but no one questioned it, because they already understood. Liam stepped out of the garage, catching that line. We ride tonight. It hit different this time. Before, riding was something distant. Now, it was close. Real. Tate walked over. You heard him? Liam nodded. Yeah. A pause. What does that mean exactly? Tate gave a slight smirk. You'll see. Not unkind, just expected. Harper approached slowly from the side, arms crossed loosely. He's not ready, she said. Tate glanced at her. Wasn't about being ready. She held his gaze. It is for him. A small silence passed between them. Then Tate looked back at Liam. You ever ride at night? He asked. Liam shook his head. No.
Tate nodded. Good. Liam blinked. Good? Means you don't have bad habits yet. That didn't exactly clarify things, but Liam didn't push. Instead, he looked at Harper. You think I shouldn't? She studied him for a moment, not dismissing, not doubting, just measuring. I think you should understand what it means, she said. Liam nodded slowly. Then tell me. Harper stepped closer. Riding at night isn't about the road, she said. It's about trust. Liam listened. You don't see everything. You rely on the line, on the people around you. A pause. If you hesitate, it affects everyone. That landed. Not pressure, responsibility. Liam looked out across the yard, at the bikes, at the people, at the structure he was only just beginning to understand. Then I won't hesitate, he said. Harper held his gaze. Don't say it. A beat. Mean it. Liam didn't respond immediately. He thought about it. Actually thought. Then nodded. I mean it. Tate pushed off the post. All right, then. He tossed Liam something again. Gloves this time. Gear up later. We roll at dusk. Liam caught them, looked at them, then slipped them on halfway, testing the fit. Not perfect, but close enough. The hours passed differently after that. More focused, more quiet, like everything was building toward something. The sun began to drop slowly, light shifting, shadows stretching longer, the air cooling again. Engines started being checked more carefully, fuel topped off, helmets lined up. No rush, but no delay either. Preparation. Real preparation. Liam stood near one of the bikes, adjusting the gloves again. This time, his hands weren't shaking, not like before. Harper stepped up beside him. You nervous? She asked. Liam exhaled. Yeah. She nodded. Good. He glanced at her. That's twice you've said that. She gave a faint smile. Means you're paying attention. A small pause. Then she reached forward, adjusting the strap on his helmet slightly. There, she said. Now you look like you belong. Liam didn't respond, but something about that line stayed with him. Across the yard, Jack mounted his bike, and just like before, everything aligned. Riders moved into position. Engines started, one by one, a low, unified rumble building into the evening air. Liam climbed onto his bike. This time, no second guessing, no hesitation, just focus. Tate rode ahead, Jack at the front. The line formed, clean, precise. The sun dipped just below the horizon, and then they moved. Out of the yard, onto the open road. Darkness settling in. Not complete, but enough. Streetlights flickering on. The world shifting into something quieter, more uncertain, but also more connected. Liam stayed in the line, watching, feeling, understanding. This wasn't about speed. It wasn't about showing off. It was about moving together as one. A few miles in, the road narrowed, curves sharper, visibility lower. Exactly where mistakes happen. Liam felt it, that instinct to slow, to pull back. But then, he remembered Harper's words. Trust the line. He held steady, matching the rider ahead, feeling the rhythm instead of fighting it. And slowly, that hesitation faded. Not gone, but controlled. He wasn't just riding anymore. He was part of something moving with purpose. And for the first time, in the dark, he didn't feel lost. He felt guided.
The road stretched endlessly ahead, swallowed by the deep blue of night. The formation moved like a single organism. No gaps, no hesitation, just motion. Liam stayed locked into the rhythm now, not thinking about every turn, not overanalyzing every movement, feeling it, trusting it. For miles they rode like that, through winding roads, through open stretches, past dim roadside lights and quiet towns that barely noticed them passing through. Until Jack raised his hand, a signal. The line slowed, then turned, off the main road onto a narrow path that led to a small overlook. They rolled in slowly, one by one, engines cutting until silence settled over the space again. Only the wind remained. Below them, lights from a sleeping town. Calm, unaware of everything that had shifted overnight. Liam removed his helmet slowly, breathing steady, not rushed, not overwhelmed, just present. Jack stepped off his bike and walked toward the edge, looking out over the view. One by one, others joined him. No one spoke at first. They didn't need to. This wasn't about noise. This was about meaning. Liam stepped forward too, stopping a few feet behind them. Not at the edge, but not far from it either. Closer than before. Jack finally spoke. "This is where it resets." A few heads nodded. "We don't carry yesterday into tomorrow," he continued. "We learn from it, and we move." His eyes moved briefly across the group, then to Liam. "You understand that now." Liam didn't answer right away. He looked out over the town, thought about the road, the bridge, the storm drain, the hospital. Everything that had happened in less than a day. Then he nodded. "Yeah." A pause. "I do." Jack gave a small nod. That was enough. No speech, no ceremony. Just acknowledgement. Harper stepped up beside Liam, wrapping her arms lightly against the cold. "You didn't fall out of the line," she said quietly. Liam glanced at her. "Didn't plan to." She smiled faintly. "I know." A small silence passed. Then Liam reached into his pocket, pulled out the patch, looked at it for a moment, then at Jack. "I'm not there yet," he said. Jack didn't disagree. "Not yet." Liam nodded, then closed his hand around it again. "But I will be." That landed. Not as a promise, as a direction. Jack stepped closer. For the first time, close enough that it wasn't just leader to outsider, but something closer to equal ground. "You already started," Jack said. A pause. "That's what matters." The wind moved across the overlook again, but it didn't feel cold. It felt steady. Behind them, engines began to start again. Not loud, not urgent, just ready. Tate walked past Liam, giving him a quick look. "No turning back now." Liam gave a small nod. "Didn't plan on it." Harper stepped back toward her bike. "You riding with us back?" she asked. Liam looked at his helmet, then at the line, then back at her. "Yeah." No hesitation this time. None. They mounted up again, engines humming back to life. The formation rebuilt itself naturally, like it had always been there. Jack took the front, Tate just behind. Liam, this time, not in the middle, not at the edge, closer to the front. Not leading, but trusted. The line rolled out from the overlook, back onto the road, back into the night. But it wasn't the same night anymore, because Liam wasn't the same person standing on the side of the road. He wasn't alone. He wasn't surviving. He was moving forward, with direction, with people, with purpose. And somewhere behind them, The past stayed where it belonged, while ahead, the road stayed open.